presentation, I was thinking, okay, ETL automation, how is it going to lead to the result that Tom wants me to talk about? And what I realized was that ETL automation is really just a means to an end. It's just, we can talk about ETL versus ELT, we can talk about SQL versus NoSQL, we can talk about open source frameworks like dbt or Vulnerable or whatever. But what we're really trying to get at is, hey, how can we have higher success in our data initiatives and our data projects? So I wanted to talk about the data operating system. Okay, so the current state where we're at is that business people don't do data and data people don't do money. This is obviously a generalization. I'm sure none of you fall into this category, but actually, seriously, if you're actually here, that actually probably puts you in the top 1%. But this is generally what we see, right? When we go into the market and we're talking to either the organizations or the data people, they're completely disconnected because the business people, they're focused on growing the organization, increasing revenue. They're not actually in the data. They're the ones that are trying to request the data, right? Then you have the data people, and they're totally super deep in the data, and they're just thinking about like, hey, are the reports going to screw up tomorrow? Is my server going to crash? Or like, how am I going to clean up this data, right? And so you have these two organizations focused on two different things, and you have a chasm in between. And we have a problem where we have to try and be able to bring the desires or the wants or the requirements of these two groups together to actually achieve, let's call it data success. So what are we really trying to achieve? Well, the business bottom line is they want to make money. Higher ROI, lower costs, faster decision making, more informed decision making, being able to sell data or create data products. At the end of the day, it's about making more money. Data people, they're not really, they just want to get employed, they want to get a nice salary, right? But they want to be able to build cool stuff, AI, ML, modeling. They want to get rid of all the lame stuff, which is like the data cleansing and the data munging, making sure that SLA for the reports across the organization doesn't get screwed for tomorrow. And they want to do all the cool stuff easier. They don't really want to take care of the plumbing. They just have to. I'm sure as data people, you've heard the whatever general expression they're saying that 80% of data scientists' work are in the plumbing or the data prep and all that boring prep, right? So bottom line, to do cool data stuff. And so the issue is that we are missing a framework to be able to bring this together and to be able to talk about it. Let's talk about the evolution of data infrastructure. In the beginning, you have data silos. So whether you are a mature organization, or let's say immature organization or immature data organization, you have data silos. And people are, your sales team is happy because they have Salesforce, and they have Salesforce Wave, or Salesforce Einstein, or whatever they're calling it these days, MailChimp Analytics, Zendesk Insights, or Zendesk Explore, and you have your data silos, and each of the teams are getting the reporting, and it's helping, and they're growing. Great. Then they grow, and the business requirements change, and there's increased need for more holistic view of the data and the customer. So you build your first data warehouse, and the organization continues to grow, everyone's happy, awesome. Then you start doing some fun stuff on the side. So you have some automation, maybe some modeling, some data enrichment, trying to tap into third-party data services to clean up your data and that sort of thing. Continually, the organization grows, which is awesome, and the requirements and the number of data users increase, and we have to start thinking about user management. And so now we're starting to deal with quite a number of technologies, right? We started with our data silos, now we have our core data sets, we need our data technology for the data warehousing, we need several for the ETL, we're doing some additional stuff on the right. I was hoping the slide thing would be here so I could point. But the gearboxes represent the modeling, the ML, all that stuff. And you have your BI layer on top, like Lord Analytics or Looker or whatever you might be looking. And then you have to start managing it maybe with additional tool, with some sort of user management. Additionally, then the organization continues to grow, and we need to start setting up additional logging, and we're starting to get into lots of data governance type of stuff, the type of stuff that I have no idea about, but we're talking about GDPR and DPA and HIPAA and all these other acronyms for compliance and security, and all this other stuff that none of the data people actually really, well, this guy does, but the data people don't want to be doing that stuff, right? We were talking about the data people wanting to do the cool stuff, so I won't go over that again. But the people that originally had built up the previous ones, they're having fun, and then they start having to do these things, and they start getting bogged down with all the boring things, and not being able to actually innovate with the data. So on the side, so what we see here with our customers and when we go to the market is that people don't have access to the data. They need to go through IT to get their user credentials. They don't have a strong enough machine to be able to actually do their data. They need to request reports. It takes like a week and a half because IT is backed up. And so someone from marketing usually, they say, screw it, I own the data. I have my own Google Analytics. I need to get my bonus because I need to show how much I've increased reach or increased engagement on our website. And so they're like, okay, I'll just buy Tableau for $200. Let's sit on top, do my presentation, get my bonus, and they're happy. And all the work that's doing all this, the entire team, all the FTEs that you have to hire to be able to maintain this, is like, they're doing it for the marketing department, and the marketing department doesn't even use it. And they're not going to tell the data people because they don't want to hurt their feelings, right? So we end up with, we have a system that doesn't work eventually. It doesn't scale because, what got you here doesn't really get you to where you need to go. And you have to start to tear down and rebuild your data pipelines. Not something that we want to do. Has the problem been solved? No. The data people have been stuck doing all the management and the administration of keeping things alive. And the business people aren't happy because it takes them a week and a half to get their reports. They're not able to actually get their fast decision making. They're not even getting what they want from the data people again, because the data people are not doing the work of data innovation. They are doing the data plumbing and the data administration. So no one's really happy. What the data operating system tries to do here is that we are helping transitioning from maturity level stage to maturity level stage in a smoother fashion so that you don't have to do some sort of tear down and rebuild, right? So when we're doing, that was an awesome example with the small organization. When you're a startup, it's really easy, really fast. You have a single guy, maybe the guy does some sort of model for basket analysis for your e-commerce website, right? And so he builds the model, then the organization grows, you get into kind of scale-up land, and we need to continue to alter that script, and the guy's just running it on his server. The company continues to grow. Several years later, it's in commercial land now, and that person is left because he doesn't want to do that anymore, and you're stuck with this black box script that has moved you from there up to there, which is awesome, but a quarter of the companies that we talk to end up having the problem that I just described, is that they're like, holy crap, this thing could go down any minute, and we have no idea what we're going to do because we don't even know what it actually really does, right? So what we need is a system and framework to be able to bring you from one place all the way to the next. The data operating system consists of 4 parts. Business data model, which is the centerpiece that really helps with the transition from any scale of the organization. If you have a business, you definitely have a business data model, which is what I'm going to explain next. The data catalog and the activities of the data acquisition and data consumption. This is an example of the business data model, and I'm going to start referring it to the BDM. The BDM is the business described in the language of data. So yes, it looks like a logical data model, it looks like an ERD, it looks like some sort of schema design, but what it actually is just it's describing what the business completely independent of the technologies that are lying underneath. So this is an example of sales and marketing. So this third one from the bottom, contact leads. If you work with CRM, you might know this. And then we have an opportunity. So if you work with kind of CRMs or sales, you kind of know this, right? If you typically when we are working with our customers, when we're designing the BDM, it is that the leads and contacts thing gets very confusing. A perfect example of this came up today, which was not set up within our organization, where Jan is laughing because he's my coworker, and he puts in Slack, he's like, guys, like, leads are not contacts. And like, there is a distinction, and at the end of the day, it's about people. So if you don't, who does know about the distinction? Leads and contacts. Okay. In general, CRMs. They're always separate. Okay. So